The most recent Mott MacDonald Carbon Crunch Forum came 4 years after the publication of the UK government's Infrastructure Carbon Review, which was published in November 2013. It called for an 80% reduction in carbon emissions by 2050. It has set challenges for infrastructure projects around the world. Do we need targets? And what will be the key drivers of low or net zero carbon in big infrastructure projects?
We drive efficiency of how we do things. That means using less resources, which reduces the carbon component, and that means lower cost. So if you care about what it costs to do something, you care about cutting carbon.
So how are we progressing on achieving the 2050 carbon target, especially in the light of the Paris Agreement, which aims to keep a global temperature rise this century well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels?
When we looked at the carbon targets being set by infrastructure clients, we see that there's a big drop-off from 2020. So as we now go forward with the Paris Agreement, when we need not just 80% reduction by 2050, but actually we need to get to that net zero carbon, it's an unclear trajectory as to how far infrastructure is going and actually how they're going to achieve it. Setting an infrastructure-wide target, which is based, it's very important that it's based on the climate science, is one way to help achieve that.
In our quest towards carbon reduction in major infrastructure projects, much has been said about why it makes business sense. You can reduce costs, unlock innovation, drive efficiencies and gain competitive advantage, at the same time as mitigating climate change. So for Crossrail 2, which is the proposed north-south rail route through London, what are the key drivers?
From my perspective, driving down carbon is absolutely key and doing our bit towards reducing the impact on climate. But it's realising that there are many more benefits that can actually be realised. So there's a lot of focus on the negative side of things that we do. So what we're trying to do is really flip it around and look at the positives. So there's loads of case studies about reducing carbon and how much money you can save, how much it drives innovation. And I think that's the sort of message we're trying to roll out across the project, to really get people excited about carbon and, save money and do our bit.
At the English Environment Agency, whose objective is to achieve sustainable development, they believe in using new technologies such as building information modelling, BIM, and carbon planning software to work out the final carbon impact of different material and transport options and the footprint of an overall project.
Building information modelling, BIM, is going to be a real opportunity for us in being able to unlock that potential. We are currently working on new digital products and digital standards, helping us to access that data, which is much more transparent to us now using BIM than it ever was before. In the past, we would have had drawings and reports delivered to us, maybe electronically, but probably as a PDF, so that all that information would be locked in. By using BIM, what we have then is an ability to access that data and pull out all of the key information. And I think that is going to be part of the future solution.
National Grid, the British multinational electricity and gas utility, made great strides in carbon reduction during an asset replacement project at Wimbledon in southwest London. Its tendering process, which was won by Lang O'Rourke, included a 5% weighting on carbon performance, demanding 23% carbon reduction and £3 million worth of savings during the substation extension project, equating to taking over 7,600 cars off the road for a year.
We saved the 23% that they committed to at tender, and then we've gone beyond that through other design considerations. So they were able to reduce the footprint of the building, for example.
I would say on the project, the key is actually working with the client in a collaborative way and making sure that you're not working against each other and just following other contracts as this, so we must do that blindly. You want to work together to actually get the maximum benefits.
As we help our clients step up to the carbon challenge, we're finding innovative ways of reinventing infrastructure and building better by design with digital tools, paving the way for a sustainable future.
Sustainability is a complex concept. It's really about society as a whole. It's about well-being. It's that famous triumvirate of environmental, social, economic balance. And I think it's not a hard measure. It's about that ability, and there's all sorts of definitions, but I quite like the one that says it's about me not consuming so much today that my children and grandchildren can't enjoy the lifestyle that I had.